exploited. They're overexploited.
Yes.
Good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Friday edition of the Lall Show right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. My name is Joshua Van Sleck, and of course I'll be a moderator for this evening's show. And of course this evening I have with me the publisher of the Kaieteur News, Mr. Lall, who will make his presentation this evening, after which I'll assist him with taking your telephone calls and of course reading your message or any concern that you may have this evening. Mr. Lall, good evening to you, and the floor is now yours.
Good evening to you, good evening to everybody in the office, and good evening to all you beautiful people out there listening to this program. Let me say thanks once again for listening. I played a song just now, Luna Lose. That's a beautiful song. I've been practicing to dance that song. It's the best song on earth today. Wonderful meaning, deep meaning. I had to play that song so that I could get over this emotion that I have within me, that has been boiling up in me all day, because I feel like cry for Guyana. The things that's happening in this land, I just feel like cry for all of Guyana, including myself. Our ex-president and prime minister, Samuel Hines, did not respond to come on the radio after I would have spoken about him defending the 1,000 Guyana dollar per acre per year goal land, but he wrote a letter which I'll be carrying Sunday in the newspaper with a response, of course, with my response, of course. But I must tell you, when I read that letter, I was deeply hurt and saddened to know that this gentleman who wrote the letter was the president of this country. I could not believe he would have written such a nonsense, which I'll respond on. I believe he wrote that letter to please his bosses in the PPP, because I think that's their mentality, and they're looking for a scapegoat, some fool to pen those words through the letter pages. But again, I would still like to have Mr. Sam Hines. Like I said, I don't want him to come in. He can call on the phone and we can have that discussion. I was thinking whether I should do a special program on that letter, but I think there's too many bigger issues, gigantic issues for me to talk about, rather than just spew the kind of nonsense that's in the letter. And I don't think I have the time for that. But I just want to let you guys know, whenever Kaieteur News report on ExxonMobil and the rest of the oil companies, you guys know that many of the leaders in this land gets very, very upset.
Yes.
Yes, they do. I know some of them. I'll tell you all a story about one of them, a main player who's worse than a dog that bites its owners. What he said to two of my reporters, it's sickening. You don't have to ask whose interests he's working for. He's like the enemy of all of us. He's working in the best interests of the oil players, rather than me and you, who owns these resources. But before I share that story, I would have to get the permission from the two journalists. I'll get it sometime next week and I'll share that story with you guys. Brothers and sisters of this beautiful country called Guyana, before I begin my program tonight, let me say this in no uncertain terms, that every one of us is getting conned day by day, year after year, from all these leaders we have in this country. Our leaders are deceitful, deceiving, and cunning. They have been running this country in secrecy for the last 30 years, most of them. I have texted most of them in the three main political parties, requesting the interest rate again. I have also asked them to explain the decommissioning provision that we have in the oil contract. I have asked them to tell us what kind of money coming out from our oil for this cleanup after the oil is finished. I did ask about full cover insurance too, which we don't have. I have not received any comment or answer from none of them. The big question, my brothers and sisters, is why? They have all read my question. Why no answers? You and me are being conned. Plain, straight, and simple. And I would like y'all to ask, all of you, continue asking those questions. How much we are paying on the 20 billion loan, and how much ExxonMobil is taking out every day on this decommissioning, this cleaning up. Y'all see how barefaced these leaders are? Just think about it. This is beautiful Guyana we're living in. Have you noticed that the leaders of the PPP, PNC, and AFC not holding press conferences?
Yes.
And when they do, when they want to make themselves relevant, they jump on overseas online radios to talk with people who ain't got a clue as to what is going on in this country with our wealth. This is because they can't talk much. ExxonMobil and the oil players out there have them wrapped around their little finger. Not Glenn alone saying so. Please listen carefully. Who else is saying it? She is one of the smartest journalists I came across over my lifetime in the news business. Her name is Rachel Maddow. If you want to know anything big that is going on in this world, more so America, please listen to her 1-hour program every night on MSNBC. If I miss that program, like I didn't eat my dinner. Viewers, please stay tuned a few minutes. I'll explain what she said. In the meantime, the link to the video is posted on YouTube and Facebook. Just a few seconds more of her. But it's the boom I love her when she talk about the boom. Wow. She said all the boom happened in just hours. Guys, she said these oil companies so big that they wrap countries and their governments around their little fingers through corruption. Boom, you hear that? Yes. The woman said there is even undermined democracy in countries where they work. And she stressed that it's not just the business people, it's the governments too. Hear that? Yeah, man. Boom. She said, then the shape governments and whole countries to fit the company needs. You know, when you're married, you just shape them how you want them. Not true? Yes, that's what they're doing to countries. Shape them to suit them. That's what they do. We leaders don't get shaped, and now they want to shape the country. Them lie. Not once Lall is breathing. No. They are not going to shape Guyana. They don't shape you, the leaders. And they're not going to shape Guyana. The woman says she wrote a book specially to put countries on guard, to be on the lookout for these types of things. Kaieteur News has been warning Guyana 6 years now as to the corruption within the oil sector that transpired with many countries across this world. You guys just got to Google it and you will see many stories what happened in several parts of these countries like Ghana, Nigeria, Chad and so on. It's there. We already was putting our leaders on guard as to what these oil companies did around the world. The oil and gas business has shaped the world for the last century. That's how big and powerful they are. It's about to get unwired. Yes, turn around. This control that they have over countries and governments is coming to an end, because they are the ones that are messing up the world, the environment. The same flaring that's going on out there. Yes. Guyana, do you know they are burning deadly chemicals in the wee hours of the morning at Houston on the east bank of the Demerara? Yes, it's going on in the wee hours of the morning and late at nights, slowly killing the neighborhood while the people sleeping. We will carry that story on Sunday. Many nights while I go home, I see it. I took a video of it which night. And I put my reporter to ask the EPA if they know what's going on. I had spoken to Vincent Adams about a year ago that they were doing it. And he said, Glenn, they don't have any manpower and money to monitor these things. So it left there, he has done nothing, and they continue burning it. You got to see how they're burning there in the night, man.
Yes, what's that?
Midnight, after midnight.
Houston.
Right at Houston, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, they're killing out the whole neighborhood there, because those are deadly chemicals they're burning there.
Continue here.
Rachel Maddow said, the climate disaster is a real thing, and it needs to be fixed, and the oil and gas companies are going to have to get out of the way or change themselves fundamentally in the way they do things, the way they operate. They got to start embracing and investing in solar, hydro and wind to generate electricity. You hear that, guys? Not that their donkey were jagged on Brasington, them. They're running behind. Not that. The highest court in the world, the ICJ, International Court of Justice in the Netherlands, issued a ruling that mandate the largest oil company in the world, other than China, Royal Dutch Shell, to cut its emission by the end of this decade by 45%. Kaieteur News had it big on the front page before even Rachel Maddow talked about it. We carried it a couple of days ago. We carried another story too that she talked about right after the court ruling of Chevron. ExxonMobil had to pump some of their board members to accommodate climate change activists. Yes, that's a big win for the world. That's a boom for the world. Boom, yes. Melinda Janki and Anna Arjun were part of bringing about that change so that the citizens of this earth and their children to come can breathe well, live a healthier life, and of course, a longer life. That is what cutting of emission means to this world. The Netherlands court ordered Shell Oil Company to cut their emissions by 45%. Hours after the boom. Yes. But here this other boom. Chevron shareholders voted to cut emissions too. That's another boom. Yeah, man, there's a lot of boom going on. And then boom again. ExxonMobil shareholders, we big buy friends. Jack Dave and Harmon and big buy friends. Voted, their shareholders voted to kick out some of their directors to add climate-friendly directors on their board, which will change the direction of these companies towards a cleaner world. That's a big boom. That's a boom. Rachel Maddow said it's a boom. Guys, today, just now, another oil company, a big oil company, Total SA, them shareholders just announced that they too have to fall in line with climate change. If Rachel get a one, she would not be added. That would have been a bigger boom. Yes. So that flaring they're going on out there, killing we slowly, all will have to come to a boom and end very soon. Yes. Guys, this is the same issue Melinda Janki and attorney at law, Mr. Ronald Bart Smith, took to the courts 2 weeks ago. Boom. We're still waiting. We're going to wait on the decision by the court. The climate change people around the world, after hearing the news, you got to hear this one. The people responded by saying, boom! An utterly crushing day for big oil companies. The Chevron news, the ExxonMobil news, the Shell news, and of course now, Total SA news is thanks to all those who fought. All those who fought. It goes to show if you push long enough, the dominoes will keep tumbling. Yes, we at Kaieteur News have been fighting and will continue to fight this fight and many more until this domino game disappear out of Guyana, not only fall. A very good night again to all of you. I am smiling, I'm happy. And I'm happy and thankful that none of you sleeping away on me. You guys know the color of crude oil? James, you know the color of crude oil?
Not really.
We got out there?
Not really.
Yes, the color of crude oil is black. And just like that color black, we are in the dark as a nation. But as the days go by, things are becoming clearer. You hear that? It's black, but things coming clearer. I had promised Monday to explain decommissioning. Decommission is a word, simply means clean up. Clean up when you're done work. When the oil is finished, to remove the pipes, seal the wellheads, pick up the iron, the cement casing, tubes and stuff like that. That's a huge cost that has to come out from our oil money. You hear me? Clean up. Decommissioning is to clean up. Yes, we got to pay for it. It's nothing new. It has been happening all over the world. But in Guyana, we are in the dark as to what we are paying. You didn't hear what I said. We are in the dark as to what we are paying. All over the world, when countries and oil companies sign deals, them just put in a price or a formula how them going to pay and how much it going to cost to remove the stuff. Of course, when you guys agree, this money that will be coming out from the oil to clean up the mess, them just put it in a special account to get little interest. But in Guyana, it's not only we the citizens alone in the dark. Our leaders are in the dark too as to what ExxonMobil is taking out. You hear that? This is a case of the blind leading the blind. Like I said Wednesday, the money they're taking out for cleanup alone gonna be more than the money that Guyana gonna get in its lifetime on the Stabroek Block deal alone with ExxonMobil. You hear me? Because we don't know. ExxonMobil already taking out. You hear that? ExxonMobil is already taking out, and we don't know how much is being taken out presently. Much less the total unknown figure. We don't know how much they're taking out. You hear me? But they're taking out. This one, guys, worse than the interest rate we're paying on a $20 billion loan. Because I am certain that the leaders know how much we're paying on the interest rate, and they don't want to tell us. That's why they are hiding it. You understand? But they don't know how much they're taking out for the cleanup. No. They're hiding it, and I don't know why they're hiding the interest rate. I can tell you why they're hiding it. Hold on. They're taking out this money. They're taking out this money because they want to use that money. They're using that money. Exxon is using that money. That money shall be put in an account, a special account where both parties should have been gaining. The same cleanup cost. That cleanup cost is worse. It's worse than the interest. The provision in that contract is unthinkable. I have sent that provision to many experts and lawyers, to the president, to Mr. Jagdeo, to Mr. Harman and all of them, including Trotman, who signed it. And I ain't hear a word from any one of them until now. two senior counsel in this country. One of them said to me, Glenn, this thing is above his pay grade. And the other one said, he wish he could explain it to me. He said, Glenn, sorry. What that simply means, we are chained to a neck with that provision. But all is not lost. One of them said, Glenn, any contract can be renegotiated, but it calls for a willingness of the leaders of this land. You hear that? The man said, all is not lost. It can be renegotiated, but it calls for the willingness of the leaders of this land. Just a reminder, brothers and sisters, none of them in the coalition didn't want to release the oil contract in the first place. But President David Granger, after listening to Jan Mangal, his advisor at the time, released it. I applaud those two men for that. Can I say that about any other of the leaders in this country? No, I can't say. Nothing, no. A big no. I am not proud of any one of them. Because none of them wanted the contract to be released. I will talk that story very soon as to who and who were against releasing it. That's how we were able to see what's inside today. Today. Like the cleanup provision was set about to rape we more than we will ever get from the oil sector. The Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister says any contract that benefits one side only is not a contract.
That's true.
It must be renegotiated, changed, revoked, or reviewed. You guys remember that? One senior counsel tell me, Glenn, it's not about challenging the contract. It's about renegotiating the provisions that is unfair, unclear, and unjust, and in some cases unlawful. I agreed fully with that lawyer. Anything that benefits one side only or one man only is not a contract.
Right.
Nowhere in the history of business one party gets the hug of the profits. You agree with me?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man. Man, any market vendor knows that. And there is many, many more similar sick provisions in the contract. Guyana, this oil contract that our leaders signed looks like a 3-year-old child art project. A 3-year-old child drawing where the child paint a family portrait and the teacher can't figure out who is mommy from daddy, who is brother from sister. That's the kind of contract Raphael Trotman signed on to. A man who got a degree from the best university in the world on contract negotiations. Yes. I sent the provision to him for an explanation. He didn't respond to. But he did say many times he was instructed and directed to sign that contract. He did say that. I would have liked to send it to all of you, my brothers and sisters. But it's waste of time. Because if senior lawyers and oil experts don't understand it, it doesn't make sense to send it to y'all. I can't even read it to y'all. I told you guys many times before, this oil business is a gigantic one. It takes years to get to know all the tricks, scampishness, thievery, the dirtiness, and the cons in the business, and to learn all the different ways them use to exploit countries. Guys, let me ask all of you this simple question. Would you pay a man 20 years in advance to clean up your yard?
No.
You got to be a moron. Would you pay a maid 20 years upfront money for clean up your home?
No.
If you pay the man or the woman to do the work and they drop dead or they walk away, gone to Russia with your money, how you get in your home and your yard clean? Huh? Huh? Well, that is what Guyana signed on to in the Exxon contract.
Yep.
And worse. And worse. You see why I wouldn't even, like I don't even want to respond to people like Sam Hines. Because these are much more important things for me to talk about.
Yep.
Rather than spilt milk. It is worse, my friends. We already start paying them now for clean up them old pipes, old iron, seal them wellheads on the seabed or under the ocean floor after the oil is done from Lisa 1. Yes, them taking out our money for that. And we don't even know the cost. There is no figure set in the contract, but them taking out right now. You hear this kind of nonsense? Here how the contract describe this cost. Listen. A revised figure. Y'all hear that piece? A revised figure without any cost to work with. Something we don't know. But them are already taking out money up front. Is what kind of crap going on in this country?
Makes no sense.
Sam Hines should listen to this and he should respond to it. He can do it in letters too. The contract say them can collect payment by 2024 for cleanup. You hear that? By 2024. From now to 2024, they should done collect the money for cleanup. Imagine the project now start, but them don't want money for cleanup 20 years from now. That's how long them say the project gonna last anyway, without a figure. So the people can take out whatever amount they want. Man, I feel like cry for y'all rather than laugh. What a way to run business, Mr. Sam Hines,
Sad.
Mr. Harmon, Mr. Jagdeo, Mr. Ali. What a way for run business. This is business, man. What that means for us, that provision will shorten the crumbs of what we get in year after year. What a beautiful Guyana with beautiful leaders. I hope God bless them. God bless you guys. You see how smart Exxon them is, bro? And our financial gurus in the PPP, in the PNC and the AFC, them can't see what's going on. Them don't have time to read the contract. ExxonMobil taking out we money up front, and we don't know how much them taking out. Just like the $20 million loan, the interest rate, what all of them silent on. Silent. Man, when ExxonMobil collect that money, that cleanup money, that decommission money, they will turn around and put it in another project and charge us a bigger interest rate. You understand? I hope when they put the money in another project and give you an interest rate, the leaders gonna tell we the one. Because I've been telling we the 20 million. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, tonight is Friday night. Friday night. Let me repeat. All over the world, this cleanup money does come out little by little as they work the oil field and put in a special account to be used at the end of the project so that nobody pockets is dented when you take out it in a lump sum up front. The money that is put it in a bank to make some interest so that both parties can benefit from it. And when the time comes to clean up, then they take it out. Instead, we leaders agree through the contract that ExxonMobil can take out any amount of money and use it. How does he fit while our pocket is dented?
Wow.
You didn't hear me, man. Them take you money, invest it to make more money on you. You hear that? But we leaders can't see that type of business. Them can't see ExxonMobil will take the same money and put it in another project and charge we interest rate on it. Guys, this is not laughable. This is insanity.
Rick is right.
It is insanity. We giving them our money up front to do more business for them to make more money when the money could have been in a special account to which both of us could have made money. By the time Exxon done with Guyana, them going to decommission and clean up all them leaders too.
Yep.
Yep. Including all of this country too.
Easy side.
So prepare for them to come and bathe you and massage your skin. You're going to like it. You know what I mean? They're going to decommission all of you with this type of lawlessness and nonsense they're going on with. Kaieteur News reported Monday in which an expert calculated 267 million clean up for Liza One alone. We don't know how them arrive at that figure because the ExxonMobil contract doesn't have a figure to start in the first place. So I don't know how them arrive at that. ExxonMobil contract got a tricky way for calculate the cleanup costs. They have the revised way. They say will be revised as they see fit. You hear that, bro? Yep. Them are revised and come at a cost as they see fit from time to time. That is the words they have in the contract. What I mean, man? Anybody understand what I mean?
No sense to nobody.
They call all the shots, that's what they say.
Huh?
They basically calling all the shots.
Will be revised as they see it fit from time to time. Buddy, I don't know what I mean. Every month, them could give you a different estimate while them taking out up front. That same estimate that they will revise from time to time.
Wow.
Day after day, month after month, years after years. That's my understanding of the contract. And many other people tell me when I chat with them, say, yes, Glenn, that's what we understand. The group estimated 267 million for Liza One. Y'all remember how much we get the first year, last year? Same amount, 267 million. This is a laughable country here, 267 for cleanup, and you get 267 last year. What a Guyana. And they said this money going to transform Guyana into Dubai.
Nothing will transform into
Man, this is laughable.
Dubai.
But I want to ask if Harman and Jagdeo would be sitting down there to see how they're revising these cleanup figures. I want to see. You know who fixing the price? ExxonMobil fixing the price.
They calling all the shots, bro.
So whether they sit down or they don't sit down, ExxonMobil decides the price, not Guyana. What all this simply means is that Lisa 1, 2, and 3, up to 10, what they plan for bring, the cleanup cost will take out as soon as they start pumping oil. They're going to pump out the cleanup money up front. This is going to reach in the billions, and Guyana will still be collecting in the millions. That is a contract with Raphael Trotman. Raphael Trotman signed, said that, not Glenn Lall. And Jagdeo and the rest of them will still be singing that song. Pump, baby, pump. Pump, Harman, pump. Pump on, pump and go. Yes, hold on. It get more dirty. This thing more stinking, brothers and sisters. That money is coming out from the operational cost. You hear me? The money is coming out the operational cost. What that means? You and your neighbor have a barbecue together. Every weekend on a 50-50 profit. Listen to what I mean. Operational cost. You and your neighbor have a barbecue every weekend, and I work it 50-50. But before you even start sell, the neighbor arrange to pay a man for clean up the place every time the barbecue done. Listen to me carefully. Every time the barbecue done. From the time the neighbor starts selling the barbecue, he start taking out money for the cleaner man. Money where you don't know. You don't know how much this cleaner man working for. But he money will come out up front all the time. And you don't have a fixed cost.
Wow.
Your neighbor can take out any amount and give the man.
Correct is right.
That is business, eh? You run a business with a neighbor like that? Yes. That is what ExxonMobil doing to we
Stuff.
with the cleanup costs. The only difference is Guyana is not paying. Them taking out and take out what I feel like take out without Guyana knowing what coming out. The contract said so, man. That is what the contract we signed on to.
Help us.
The contract went further. Well, this is not craziness. This is unthinkable. What these people sign on to. Exxon said, in the process of cleaning up, listen this one, man. In the process of cleaning up, them can take the wellheads, the tubes, the pipes, the valves, the castings, man, everything they want. Although we don't pay for it. And move it to another area and use it free on any other project and charge you for it. Again. Don't shake your head.
Shit.
Don't do that.
Rubber my brains.
Hmm?
God, this is unbelievable.
How you like that?
There's nothing to like about this, eh?
Let me tell you, make it more simple for you. It's like the barbecue done. the grill and everything left. The barbecue sauce, the pepper, the mustard, all the boxes and the bags and the forks and the spoons and so on left. The neighbor who take out the money already for pay the cleaner to clean up all after done, he can come pick up the grill and everything and go along and do another barbecue somewhere else, and he ain't got to pay for nothing. That is what we sign on to. You hear me clear?
Shameful.
This is beyond shit.
Well,
We
well guys, that is what Exxon is allowed to do with the ships, the rigs, the pipes, the wellheads, and things like that worth billions that we already pay for. Them can take it and carry it to another area and start working or using them. You hear me? And they can even charge us the billions for it again, with interest again. I love this country, man. You see why I can't take on these little kids like Samines? You know, if I needed a Kong's clerk, I would not even hire Sam Hines to come do the work. How dotish of a letter he write there and send to me. But like I said, I'll respond to him. Guyana, all is not lost. Remember, I talked about how Melinda Janki went to the court and got the 20-year permit that was signed and given to ExxonMobil reversed to 5 years? Yes, I did talk that.
Yes.
So now we have a chance. Every 5 years when I come to renew it, we can use the leverage we have to squeeze them B. To squeeze them B, boy. Bharat. B, we can squeeze the B and demand that they remove those rogue provisions that digging out or digging our graves slowly
Yes.
and daily. Yes. I was told the energy department sat down with ExxonMobil to work out a plan and cost of this decommissioning. To date, this country does not have one. What a Guyana this is. A friend told me that today, because I had a call to ask if we have a plan in place. Why you guys didn't sit down and work out and say, hey, what's going on here? What are we going to pay? He said, Glenn, we don't have one until now. Lisa 4 is coming. Hey. Mr. Jagdeo and Mr. Ali and the Hess boss had a secret meeting. And Hess boss already boasting how it's like a done deal. We carried a story today.
Wow.
Listen to me. On Monday, listen to me on Monday, please. I will be talking about that secret meeting. They're talking about Lisa 4, which is Yellowtail. Yellowtail is in the making. I'll deal with that on Monday for you people. This is a headache. This is now we B. This is something that comes in the B. What Guyana will be fetching. Trust me. Yeah, man. We can stop them in their tracks right there. We can stop them in their tracks right there and get everything corrected to benefit Guyana. Yes, our children, the policemen, the soldiers, the public servants, the teachers, the nurses, the pensioners, them GGMC workers, EPA, Bureau of Standards. We can help them, we can hold them there, and we can help all these people salaries triple.
Yeah.
and we can afford to live the life like the people in Dubai. It's up to our leaders now. It's up to you. You, the people, too, to wake up. To wake up these leaders from the coma or the slumber they're in and get them to bring ExxonMobil back to the table, in which we can have experts sitting on the opposite side to demand that Guyana gets its fair share.
Yep.
Yeah. The Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister did that for his people. Guys, Mr. Keith Rowley did that for his people. I want you to listen to it. Listen carefully to him. Play that for me, please.
Impress upon the investor class, the investor grouping, our corporate partners, that we are not fighting each other. We're in this together. The only difference is that the investor group has no difficulty in identifying its shareholders. And I, representing the people of Trinidad and Tobago, must also identify and work for my shareholders, who are the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And to do so, there are times when we'll disagree. There are times when we'll be excited about prospects. And there are times when we may have to be disagreeable, hopefully not too frequently. What the government knows that we must do is to sit down and talk with the companies that are involved about getting a fairer share, because we have incentivized ourselves into leakages and losses. You know, the word incentive has been overused in Trinidad and Tobago. Every time something is not going right, someone will tell you it's because of an absence of incentives. Well, we have given so many incentives that at the end of the day we are so attractive that the incentives in some instances meant that we've given away the shop. And of course, it can be presented to us in very logical and impressive arguments that had we not given those incentives, and if we don't maintain these incentives, they'll walk away from us and not invest in our country and we'll all starve. Well, when we reach the point where we bring up gas, produce it, sell it in a market where profits are being made, and the return is negative, meaning you get nothing, meaning that you'll have to pay the person to take it from you, something is radically wrong. And we just can't accept that as the way of doing business. I'm really insulted when I'm being told by those who put themselves in the know in my country, telling me that we should not be disincentivizing the investor, the foreign investor, by a tax of some kind, because they would not invest in our country. What we should be doing is being more appreciative of the multiplier effect of what little money they're spending in this country, and the dollar goes down the way, all the way down to the vendor in the street corner. So somebody's shareholder is good enough to receive the earnings as cash, as dividends. But we, the owners, should be very happy to behave well and think deeply about the multiplier effect of what little comes in our way. I'm saying that that is not how it should be. How it should be so far from those in this industry, because so far The indications are that there's a willingness not to treat contracts as cast in stone. That while contracts bind us to terms and conditions, if the conditions have changed so dramatically and so detrimentally, then the reopening and renegotiation of contracts is a reasonable demand of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And we anticipate that our partners in this business will see our claim as a fair and just one. And we anticipate that there will be some reopening of contracts so that at the end of the day, we can all sustainably benefit from the God-given riches of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yep.
Wow. Wow, you guys heard the man himself.
Yep.
He's for the
Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister. He said that we have to get our fair share from our God-given wealth. The oil people, the man said, have no difficulty in identifying their shareholders. He said he, representing the people of Trinidad and Tobago, must also identify and work for his shareholders, who are the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Can I hear that from my leaders?
man, never.
Never.
Huh? The man said, in doing so, there are times when we're going to disagree. There are times when we're going to be happy
Yep.
about potential. The government knows what they must do is to sit down and talk with the oil companies that are involved about getting a fair share. You hear the man said that? That's what he said. The man said, we give away too much in concessions. He used the word incentives. I want to use the word concessions. Sweetheart deals. He said when things ain't going right with the companies then just tell you that they ain't get enough. I only hope Sam Hines listening to me. The man said we have given so many concessions that they end up, he said at the end of the day, they give away the whole shop, the whole country.
Wow.
The man said the oil companies just come with fancy language and tell we that if we don't give them the sweetheart deal, how they going to go somewhere else and we going to starve. Yes, we going to starve. Right now we starving.
We started
Correct is
already.
right.
And we give them.
Exactly.
Trinidad and Tobago starved for 70 years.
Wow.
But the man said, he said when we meet at a point where we bring up oil, I love this piece, man. The man said when we meet at a point where we bring up oil, sell the oil, profits are being made, and the return is negative, meaning that you will have to pay the oil company to take it from you. Something is radically wrong.
Yep.
We already have that.
Something is radically wrong. When you have your product and you can benefit from it, and you have to turn back and pay people for take the product and make money, something is wrong. We are already here.
Yep.
And we can't accept. The man said, and we can't accept that. We should not accept that. Well, I am saying Guyana must never, ever, ever accept this kind of business what's going on in this land. No, don't do this to yourself. Please, I am pleading, I am begging you guys, don't do that. I am really insulted when I am being told, this is the PM words, the man says he's insulted when he's being told by those who put themselves in the know-how in my country. You know?
Yes.
That's the leaders of this land in the know-how he talking about.
Yeah.
Telling us that we should not take away the sweet deals from the oil people. How we should be glad collecting crumbs. That is what Sam Hines said in the letter that I'll be publishing. Yes, Sunday. The exact thing that the Prime Minister said in Trinidad and Tobago, that we are gladly accepting crumbs and happy. The man said, that's what this chapter talking about. That's what Sam Hines talk about in the letter for Sunday. I'll respond in kind to him, man. Yeah, man. Somebody shareholder, the Prime Minister said, somebody shareholder is good enough to receive the earnings as cash, as dividends. But we, the owners, should be very happy to behave well and think deeply about the little crumbs we collecting for we pocket. That was Sam Hines agreed to. That is what Sam Hines accepting. And he happy about that. And he wants the Guyanese nation to be happy with that.
No way.
That is what the PM said. The man said, that's not how it should be. Kaieteur said, that's not how it should be. So far, the man said there is a willingness that contracts are not cast in stone. Are you hearing me, man? Contracts are not cast in stone. He said, while contract bind us to terms and conditions, the man said the conditions have changed so dramatically and so detrimentally, then reopening and renegotiation of contracts is a reasonable demand for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And Glenn Lall is saying the exact words. It is a reasonable demand for all my brothers and sisters of this country, because we have the worst oil contract on earth. You hear that, guys? It's a reasonable demand for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. The man said he expects the oil people to see our demand is reasonable and a just one, and we expect there will be some reopening of contracts. So at the end of the day, we can all sustainably benefit from the God-given riches of Trinidad and Tobago. He said much more, but I couldn't find the tape. But in one other speech he made, let me tell you what wasn't played in that video. He put together a team of oil experts and told BP boss, British Petroleum, that's the company they're using in Trinidad, to put together a team to sit down with his team. BP boss asked him, sir, did we do anything wrong? He said no. Sir, did we break the laws, the rules of Trinidad and Tobago? The Prime Minister, the same Mr. Rowley, tell him, no sir, you did not. He tell the BP boss, if a contract benefits one side only, it's not a contract. After the two teams met, Trinidad and Tobago was able to keep raking in billions through that renegotiation. Very good night to all of you. And I'll be sitting here for a few minutes. It's Friday. And please, let's get going. I have been saying to my staff every day, over the last 27 years, my soul has been continuously burning when I see what the leaders of this country allowing all these foreigners to do with our wealth. Brothers and sisters, tonight, my bones is on fire. and nothing can put it out. No one can put it out, and no one can shut me out. Good night. God bless you all. I want to take your calls. Go ahead, take some calls.
All right, that's right. Let me remind you that that telephone number is 226-7453 and 226-7454. You can also call us on WhatsApp this evening on 622-2222. So I have a question here while we're waiting the calls, and I'm going to read it for you. He is saying, Mr. Lall, I'm so sorry that you are one of the few who understand, but you are unable to say why the reason for the either dumb politicians or why they corrupt.
One second. Yes, sir.
Hi.
Yes, Mr. Vincent.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, man.
You talked about the plan for the decommissioning. You said you were part of the team sitting with the energy department head, Mr. Mark Bainu.
Yeah.
Could you tell?
This here was during the review of the Kaieteur field development plan that we had in Houston.
Yes.
And of course, as part of the agreement, they have to, for each of the development, they've got to put together a plan with the budget, which means the cost of the decommissioning.
Yes.
And of course, there were lots of questions that were raised and issues that they would. And after that meeting, they was this is Exxon. We're supposed to come back with answers to the questions in terms of what was included, because the details weren't there at the time, as I recall. So they were supposed to fill in the details. Because we weren't clear as to how they arrived at the cost, and I can't recall what the cost was to be honest.
Well, there is no cost. There is no cost set forth within the contract.
Right. There's no what the contract, and that's the thing about the contract. What the contract, though, all the contract says, as I can recall, obviously. As a matter of fact, if I recall, there is even a formula.
Yes, the formula said, the exact words is that they will revise it as time goes by.
Yes.
Revised what?
There was even a formula to calculate. What it says was that, and which is why, and this is why that cost was so important. That when the questions were raised as to what the cost was, the formula in the contract, as I recall, says that you've got to divide. You divide whatever. Let's say it's 100. Let's say the number was $100 million. Okay.
Yes.
You divide it by the total recoverable barrels from that field. Let's say just for argument's sake, Kaieteur. Let's say it was $100 million. I can't recall what it is, but just to use it as an example.
Yes, use an example.
You divide 100 million, and let's say just to make it easy, let's say the recoverable reserves was 100 million barrels.
Mm-hmm.
You divide $100 million by the 100 million barrels, so you get the decommissioning cost per barrel would be $1 per barrel.
You're correct.
And then you multiply that. So let's say you're reporting every month, because I think that's what they got to report, for this cost and stuff every month. You multiply that now by the number of barrels in that period. So if it's 100,000, well, it's 100,000 barrels per day.
Yes, I heard you.
Right. So
Can you hold 1 second? Can you hold 1 second? Let me explain that what you just said to the nation.
Yes.
That's like a barbecue. You can understand that in a barbecue where you pay the cleanup man per boxes to pick up. Because you got 10,000, you pay that. But in this case, the people charging us money. Every barrel of oil will come up, you pay to clean up that too. They're not charging. This thing is ridiculous. This thing is insanity, bro.
No, I hear. And that was why the questions were raised, etc. But But that's that's the thing that what's in the contract, and of course, I had my share of criticism of the contract because everything seems to be in favor of Exxon.
No, sir. This is not everything in favor of Exxon. This is an Exxon Stabroek block. Because when they finish with Guyana with that contract, trust me, we are not in the red. We are going to our graves with it.
Yeah.
Because like I said, Vincent, just Wednesday, I said that the 267 million we got last year will not be even due to fix our road from Timeri to Georgetown that they are making up. So if you can't fix the roads alone, then what is there for our people's salary? Where is this profit? Where are we going to get this money from? This thing is unthinkable what these people doing to this country, and all our leaders, Vincent, is silent. I recognized why they sent you home, because you're too much of a straight up individual like Lall. I speak my mind. What is correct, I have to say it.
Well, you see the thing is to Glenn and I, that from day one, as a matter of fact, since I don't know if you remember, sorry about it, but it was I think it was on the Stabroek News, not Kaieteur.
Talk to me.
Going way back in 2016, I was on the front page of the newspapers calling for renegotiation of the contract.
Yes.
A $1 billion US dollars signing bonus, and I made a lot of bad friends.
Mm-hmm.
But I still nothing has changed my mind, but I think we still to me anyway, the government still owes the people of Guyana the obligation to renegotiate that contract, and don't let anybody tell you that contract is not renegotiable. As a matter of fact, there's a clause in the contract that says, obviously here we go again, that the partners have to agree to the renegotiations. Well, I would like to see the government of Guyana telling Exxon that, hey, you know what, we want to renegotiate the contract.
Could you send me that clause, please?
Yeah, I can't remember the number, but I can send you the...
Yeah, send it to us.
Yeah, it says clearly, without question, that now if it was not an intention that it's possible for it to be renegotiated, that clause would not have been in there.
Thank you.
So when I hear people say, well, we can't renegotiate, that's absolute nonsense. That is not. It's in there, which tells you that the clause was put in there because there's a possibility that we might that it could be renegotiated. So don't let anybody fool you and say, well, we can't renegotiate because we signed it.
Well, you really give me news there, bro. Thank you. You really give me news because that slipped me somewhere. Slipped me somewhere. Send it to me. And the only way that slipped my mind is because I keep hearing all the time that the sanctity of contract, and I keep blocking my mind.
No, it's in
because I just played a little video of the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago's speech, in which the man says there is no sanctity of contract when it benefits one side, and he was able to renegotiate the gas deal in Trinidad and Tobago.
But I remember, Glenn, I remember too, and you might want to see this. Is it Big Men? There's this movie on, I think it was Ghana, where I don't know if he's still in power, but it's a big story. But this, how it started development, etc. And Exxon decided to get involved because they felt that they were the big behemoths.
Mm-hmm.
And the opposition, the guy who was running, decided to run on one issue. And guess what? It was the renegotiation of the contract.
And he won.
That's exactly correct.
Yes, we carry that story. That's
Yeah.
That's and he ended up selling out. He ended up selling out the gas field.
Yeah, well, I can't remember what happened afterwards,
Yes.
but I remember that was an issue. But I tell you, I still maintain that the government owes it
Mm-hmm.
to the people of Guyana to renegotiate that contract. Nothing has changed my mind, and of course, when I was at the EPA, that was I couldn't make that decision, but I was doing everything that. And here's the other thing: how come when I was I even went against some clauses in the contract, which they brought to my attention to say, well, it's in the contract, and I said, well, I don't even know what's in the contract, so you guys don't. That I'm going to go by what the EPA directs me to do. The charter of the EPA and the laws of the EPA direct me to do, which is, you remember that 7 days notice that the government has in the way you got to give them 7 days.
Yes.
I put it in my permit. We shall have these are the one unfettered access.
Did they change that?
No, well, I don't know if they changed it after I left, but I know in the permits that I signed, in all the expiration, that clause was in there. I don't know if they changed it. The other thing that I did, that the contract basically says they should be, allowed for self-insurance. Well, of course, they don't have any money for self-insurance because this EPGL doesn't have any assets. So again, I went back and said, I'm not gonna allow self-insurance.
Exactly.
You got to put the insurance back to the parent companies, Exxon, and then with the pocket.
Yes, I spoke about that a few times.
And I put that in all of the permits. Well, they were supposed to provide like Lisa 2, which is the permit that I signed. But Lisa 2, of course, is not getting started until 2023 or 24. So I told them that they've got to get that within months, the guarantee from the three companies that they're going to be covering. But they agreed and signed that condition that they're going to provide basically unlimited liability coverage.
From the parent company.
That's exactly right, Well. And I was, with the PIARO, I was planning on not to sign off on those permits until they come up with that guarantee.
And our vice president signed that PIARA overnight without getting that in place.
That's right. So all of that changed after I left. But those are the kinds of things, regardless of the contract, those are the kinds of things that we could control. Because right now we really don't have that coverage. We don't. If something happens, God forbid something happens, and we all pray that it doesn't.
Yeah, we do.
And there's no guarantee that Guyana will be covered for a spill. The EPGL, which is the company that runs the operation, do not have assets to cover. Do you know what British Petroleum and the Macondo spill cost? Close to $70 billion US. $70 billion.
Yes. I remember. Yeah. And they're still spending money.
So one of the things that I would suggest to you folks who are looking at this new field development is that there should be pressure on the government that the government should not be signing off anything until they get that guarantee for unlimited coverage for any spill.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, they have to go back to all from Lisa 1 right through to, because that was my intention to make sure that they brought in all the documentation that they committed to show that the that the unlimited liability coverage exists, and to show the letter where the parent companies agree. That's the pressure that we should make sure that we have.
Well, I am keeping tab on it. I've been speaking about it. Every program, I just put a sentence in there to remind Guyanese that we are living in a dangerous game. Vince, let me kick your brain in this one. Did you see Hess met with Vice President Jagbe and our president in secret? And their Hess is now boasting by year end. They're ready to kick off with Yellowtail. They're ready. They're talking about the EIA right now. I plan to talk about it on Monday.
Well, so here, Glenn, I saw that, and to be honest, I was shocked. Because the EIA has a process. and nobody controls that process. The head of the EPA, the president of Guyana, nobody controls that process. That process calls for, among other things, public input, public meetings, hearings. And regardless of how long it takes, that's what it is. In every country, sometimes the EIA takes 2 years, 3 years.
You hear that?
It may take just a few months or even probably a few weeks, depending on the hazards, etc. So for somebody, for the president to come out and say, if the story is true that this guy is reporting that the president told him, I couldn't believe that.
No. Well, I don't, Vince, I don't believe the president said that. I can't fathom this. I can't understand that. Because an EIA takes 2 years at least to be processed with proper consultation, countrywide consultation. And you telling me by December you ready to deal with yellowtail? Man, this country... Yeah.
The other part, Glenn,
Yeah.
that really that really raises even more eyebrows is that just to give the two of them work together, because in the same publication it says that the public will be restricted in terms of their input to the EIA because of COVID. It was in your newspaper. That's what it says, that because of COVID. So now COVID has now become a reason for everything. So COVID now is, it's become the reason now
No,
for
COVID is a scapegoat.
That's right.
COVID is a sinister gallows. I plan to talk about it Monday. I am speaking about it Monday, Vince. I am speaking on this Yellowtail Monday.
So when you hear the Hess guy saying this, that well, they got a commitment to get the
Yes.
EIA done by the end of the year, and then you see this other piece that says, well, the public input is going to be restricted or participation. You wonder, you say, wait a minute, this here is, what kind of
Trick.
conspiracy is this?
Yes, conspiracy and trickery.
Yeah,
And trickery.
But that, that the politics or nobody should be making those type of statements. I don't care how high you are on the totem pole. The process has to drive that schedule. And here's the other part.
I hear you.
Every single question, it doesn't matter who it comes from, has to be answered formally in writing by the EPA. So that's what takes time. And those questions go to the contractor, who's in this case Exxon.
Exxon.
They have to answer and respond to it. And we've got to document. We, meaning the EPA, has to document the answer to every single question. It has to go back to where the question came from. It has to be so it takes time. It takes time. So that's what I'm saying. So you cannot predict how long an EIA is going to take. You cannot.
Yes, it's impossible. And especially with COVID.
Yeah.
Especially with COVID.
COVID is now becoming
A tool. The sledgehammer. COVID has become a sledgehammer to kill an ants.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're going to do to us. But they're not going to get by with this. Trust me. If the people of this country want to sit back quiet and allow this project that will allow the oil companies to rape our children. This is not raping adults anymore. This is raping our children and our unborn children. Well then, I think I'll pack up and go live in the moon. This is insanity to the highest, my friend. Thanks.
No, but
Yeah.
I try to make it clear every time. I am pro development. I am all for development. If you're going to do it, you're going to have to do it right.
Thank you.
You
I hear you.
The laws of the land, and the people have got to get a fair share.
I hear you.
So I am all for development. I think every single Guyanese want development, but remember now, these oil companies, they're only going to be here for 25, 30 years. And they're here. Remember these guys, their bonuses, all these managers and stuff, I can tell you because when I was in the U.S. government, I used to be in where we had to determine these guys' bonuses and everything. We had to pay the bill for their bonuses.
Wow.
But all of that is dependent upon their performance and their bottom line performance. You know what it is? How much money they're making for the company. That's how. So they've got an incentive. So I am not. I don't blame any of them. I'm not. If you think that I'm mad at Exxon, I'm not mad at Exxon. The blame has to be
Our leaders.
absolutely.
Our leaders.
That's where it has to be because we've got control.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. The other thing is, this big talk that you hear from Exxon and them, they're going to take your business anyway. If the government of Guyana says, hey, this is the way you're going to do it, they will abide by it. They will.
Exactly. I know that. We are the prettiest. Listen, man. Guyana is the prettiest woman on earth. Who don't want the prettiest woman on earth, my friend?
Hey, the other thing, Glenn, that I noticed that I saw there is this whole thing about the interest rate. Well, this year, it's even broader than interest rate, and let me tell you why. Because remember, and that's in a contract to where the responsibility for obtaining funding for these projects is in the hands of Exxon.
Yes.
So now Exxon is going out there and making arrangement with investors. I don't know who, banks.
Yes.
They should disclose who these investors are and what's the terms of these investors.
Well, tomorrow, one second, Vince. Tomorrow we're carrying a story in which Japan is funding this Yellowtail project, and they already says we're carrying that story tomorrow. They're already saying that the bank is putting 3 of their members to monitor the spending on the project.
Okay.
So who do we have? A matter of fact, who authorized this type of business already?
That's my point. Why should to me, if the two of us are in a part of a business, okay, you and I are in a partner.
That's right.
Why should I be allowed to go and make my own arrangement and decide without your authorization when the cost and the profit is going to impact you?
Both of us. Exactly.
I can't go I could go get my brother. As a matter of fact, I could sign a deal with my brother.
You could do it with your mother too.
That's right. And I could sign a sweetheart deal. And guess who's going to be paying for that sweetheart?
Me.
I'm not saying that that's what's happening here, but there's something called a conflict of interest.
You're not saying, wait, you're not saying it's not happening here. I am saying it's happening here. Because if the nation can't know what interest rate we are paying,
yes,
okay, then I am saying something is going on there with our leaders and their oil people.
Or what are the conditions of the agreement?
Exactly.
Because it's not only interest rate, because somebody might say here, you know what, I want a certain amount of shares in this whole thing, or I want all of my money within 5 years probably, which means you got to accelerate payment.
Exactly.
It's also coming out of cost oil. So that's what I'm saying. The people should be, I don't see what's wrong with being transparent. As long as you're doing everything above board, being transparent to the people of Guyana should be of utmost importance. And I think that's the way that if you do that, I think the people are going to have confidence in the system, and everybody is going to support development. I don't think well, there might be a few who don't want the oil, but I, for one, whatever development comes to the country, I want it, but it has to be done within the laws of the nation, and for Guyana to get a fair shake of the deal.
I hear you, bro. I hear you. Thank you so much. Would you like to give me a shout Monday evening? Because I'll be talking about this. All right?
Sure, yeah.
Thanks. Thanks a million. All right? And have a good night. Yeah, bye. Wow. We call it off, or no? We have a calls. Huh? All right, we get thing. All right, let's go. Wow. Vincent talked something there that I don't want to confuse people with, right? What he said there, he had a very important point. I'm sticking only on the interest rate. But what he said there on the arrangement of this loan, what he means that if I lend 2 million and I want back my money at an interest rate of 10%, 20%, and I want it back within 2 years, that the first money coming up there with the oil is coming back to me right away.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's more oil money, right? They're taking out up front, right? It's not only more in their cleanup costs, it's more coming up because 75% of every barrel of oil goes to fix the operational cost and the loans and all these things. You understand? So let's say Glenn lend them the 20 million and I want them back in 2 years' time, 75% coming out there right away for Glenn Lall pocket. So it's a big con. This thing is a whole big con game.
Exactly.
Right? It's beyond con. And our leaders is not telling us anything. You understand? This is why the nation needs to understand. This yellowtail that come in here, oh my. Like I said, this is the mother of all evil. And here how they're talking about, they're doing it in secret. Right? And hadn't it reported today in the newspaper, hadn't we get a tip and talk to Jagdeo to confirm it, you would have never know anything. Because this thing happened today, it happened about 2 weeks ago. So you see the games they're playing, they're cutting deals, they're meeting in secrecy.
Deal on wheels.
Yeah.
The first thing I'd like to say, right, listen to Vincent. He also touched back upon the contract. And listen to him and what he said is that there is also hope within that contract.
Yes,
that
exactly.
we could renegotiate. So what the question now, why is it our leaders?
Well, I missed that part and I'll be speaking
well,
on
there's
that
to say,
moment.
because they give us a bit of hope. And this we was talking about hope. Because not signing in stone.
Yeah, but beside that, you hear what the Trinidad Prime Minister said.
Yes.
You know, nothing signed in stone, set in stone.
Exactly.
It can and it must. Because if you have a business and the neighbor hungry in the business, you got to renegotiate.
Correct,
We left
is
him
right.
out of that.
Correct is
That's
right.
the point. So
is right.
that is exactly what Trinidad Prime Minister said. You cannot left the man to die. You cannot take everything and left the man to die. You have to, as time change, you have to change the suit. So now we know we have this provision in place. I'm going to kick up on that on Monday.
It's there.
Right? Guys? Thanks and God bless you guys, man. Play back the Keith Rowley stuff.
Speech.
Thank you. And thanks for listening.